You ever been in a place where it felt like no matter what you did, no matter how much you gave, no matter how much love you poured out, somebody still found a way to twist it like they were playing a game and you were just a pawn. They lied on you. They smiled in your face but schemed behind your back. They clapped for you in public but prayed for your downfall in private. They took your kindness for weakness, your silence for surrender. And let me tell you something, you felt it. Oh, you felt it deep. That sting of betrayal, that weight pressing on your chest, making it hard to breathe. You looked up and asked, why? Why me? What did I do to deserve this? Let me tell you something. Every time someone rises up against you, every time someone plots against you, every time someone thinks they can break you, there's something bigger happening behind the scenes. Because let me tell you what happens when they think they've got you beat, when they think their manipulation worked, when they think they've buried you so deep you'll never see the light again. See, what they don't know is that every time they try to break you, they're actually positioning you. Every time they try to take from you, they're setting you up for more. They think they're cutting off your oxygen, but what they're really doing is pushing you into an atmosphere they can't even breathe in. You ever notice how some people, no matter what they do, they just can't seem to shake you? They throw dirt on your name, but somehow you're still standing. They try to turn people against you, but somehow favor still finds you. They set traps, but somehow you keep walking right past them. You know why? Because every plan they form against you is already known. Every trap they set, every lie they tell, every game they play, it's already accounted for. You weren't just put here to survive. You weren't just put here to endure. You weren't just put here to take the blows and keep quiet. No, no, no. You were put here to rise. You were put here to overcome. You were put here to walk through the fire and not even smell like smoke. You were put here to stand in the face of your enemies and smile. Not because you don't see what they're doing, not because you don't feel the weight of their attacks, but because you know something they don't. You know that when someone comes against you with bad intentions, they're not just dealing with you, they're dealing with what's covering you. They think they're in control. They think they're pulling the strings. But what they don't see is that every move they make is already accounted for. See, there's a thing about people like that. They don't just want to win. No, no, no. They want to see you lose. It's not enough for them to succeed. They need to know that you're suffering. They need to know that their words got to you, that their schemes worked, that their manipulation took root, that they had power over you. But let me tell you something. Power doesn't belong to them. See, some of you, you've been sitting in the shadows, licking your wounds, trying to understand why you were done the way you were done. Some of you have been replaying conversations in your head, trying to figure out where you went wrong. Some of you have been carrying the weight of someone else's evil, someone else's bitterness, someone else's insecurity. But I need you to understand something. This battle was never yours. You think you lost? You think they got away with it? You think they're sitting somewhere laughing at your pain? Let me tell you something. A seed has to be buried before it can grow. You hear me? A seed has to be buried before it can grow. And what they thought was the end of you, oh, it was just the beginning. See, there's a thing about people who walk with truth, a thing about people who walk with integrity, a thing about people who don't need to manipulate, who don't need to scheme, who don't need to destroy others to feel powerful. They might get knocked down, but they don't stay down. They might get hurt, but they don't stay wounded. Because every attack, every betrayal, every setback, it's all fuel. And when you get up, you get up the same. You don't get up with the same mindset. You don't get up with the same wounds. You don't get up carrying the same weight. You get up stronger. You get up sharper. You get up wiser. And you get up with a fire inside of you that can't be put out. See, what they meant for harm, oh, it was always meant for your good. What they thought was your ending, it was always your setup. What they thought would break you, it was always building you. So let them think they won. Let them think they got away with it. Let them sit in their own delusion. Because what they don't realize is that the same thing they use to try and break you is the very thing that's going to elevate you. And when you rise, when you step into the fullness of who you were always meant to be, when you walk into rooms they never thought you'd enter, when you take hold of blessings they thought they could steal, it won't even be about them anymore. Because you'll be too focused on the purpose, too focused on the calling, too focused on the elevation to even look back. So don't you worry. Don't you lose sleep. Don't you give them one more tear, one more thought, one more second of your energy, because what's coming next, it's bigger than you could have imagined. And when it happens, you're going to look back and realize they didn't destroy you. They built you. Every time someone moves against you, every time they try to cut you down, every time they think they've got the upper hand, something bigger is happening behind the scenes. It might not feel like it in the moment. It might feel like the walls are closing in, like the weight of their betrayal is pressing down on you so hard you can barely stand. It might feel like they've won, like they've succeeded in making you question yourself, doubt yourself, lose yourself. But let me tell you something. What they thought was breaking you was actually building you. What they thought was setting you back was actually setting you up. See, the mistake they made was thinking they had control over your destiny. They thought if they spread enough lies, if they turned enough people against you, if they manipulated the right circumstances, they could determine the outcome of your life. But what they didn't realize is that every time they tried to destroy you, they were actually positioning you for something greater. They thought they were throwing obstacles in your way, but they were really laying down stepping stones. They thought they were closing doors, but they were actually forcing you to walk through the right ones. Because here's the truth. They can't stop what's meant for you. They can delay it. They can make the path harder. They can throw distractions and roadblocks your way, but they can't stop it. In fact, in trying to stop you, they actually accelerate your process. The very pressure they apply is what makes you stronger. The very weight of their attacks is what builds your endurance. The very pain they inflict is what pushes you into a version of yourself you never even knew existed. Think about a diamond. It doesn't become what it's meant to be without pressure. It doesn't shine without being cut. It doesn't reach its full value without going through the fire. And the same is true for you. Every time they tried to break you, they were really just applying pressure that would turn you into something greater. Every time they cut you down, they were really just shaping you, refining you, bringing out the brilliance that was always inside of you. Now, in the moment, it's hard to see. In the moment, all you feel is the weight of the betrayal, the sting of the lies, the exhaustion of constantly having to fight battles you never even signed up for. In the moment, it feels like you're losing. It feels like you're drowning. But what's really happening is that you're transforming, you're growing. You're shedding the parts of yourself that weren't meant to go where you're headed. You're being prepared for something bigger, something greater, something beyond what you could have imagined. And let me tell you something else. What they tried to take from you, they can't keep. What they thought they stole, what they thought they destroyed, what they thought they could rob you of, it was never theirs to have. Because what's meant for you will always find its way to you. And sometimes the only way for you to step into what's truly yours is for the wrong people to be removed. See, sometimes you wouldn't have walked away on your own. Sometimes you would have stayed in places that weren't meant for you, in relationships that were draining you, in situations that were holding you back. And so sometimes it takes betrayal to free you. It takes the lies, the backstabbing, the manipulation. Because without it, you might have stayed too long. You might have settled for less. You might have held on to things that were never meant for you. So what they meant for harm, it was really just a push. A push out of comfort, a push out of complacency, a push into the greatness that was waiting for you all along. And the beautiful thing about all of this, one day you're going to look back and you're going to see it clearly. One day you're going to realize that what you thought was the worst thing to happen to you was actually the best thing that ever happened. You're going to see how every attack, every lie, every betrayal was actually a part of your elevation. You're going to see how every door they tried to close was really just rerouting you to something better. And the best part, they won't even understand how it happened. They'll look at you and wonder how you survived. They'll wonder how you made it through. They'll wonder how, after everything they did, after everything they tried, you still rose. And that's when you'll know it was never about them. It was never about what they did. It was always about where you were headed. And nothing they did could stop that. Nothing they did could change that. Because you weren't just being attacked, you were being positioned. You weren't just being torn down, you were being rebuilt. You weren't just being tested, you were being prepared. So let them think they won. Let them think they succeeded. Because what they don't realize is that every move they made against you only pushed you further into the purpose they could never take away. Some people walk around thinking they hold all the cards, thinking they control the pieces on the board, thinking they can manipulate, deceive, and twist situations in their favor without consequence. They believe their schemes are foolproof, that their lies will always be believed, that their ability to control people and circumstances makes them untouchable. But what they don't realize is that every single move they make has already been accounted for. See? They think they're pulling the strings, but they don't understand that the whole game is already rigged against them. They think they're setting the traps, but those traps were never meant for you. They think they're building a fortress of lies, but that same fortress is going to collapse right on top of them. Because what they don't see, what they can't understand, is that they are never truly in control. No matter how calculated their moves, no matter how much they plot and plan, no matter how many people they deceive, there's always something bigger working against them. You ever wonder why some people keep trying and trying to break you, but somehow you keep standing? Why they spread rumors about you, turn people against you, throw obstacles in your way, and yet you keep moving forward? It's because their moves are already known. Every scheme, every plan, every word spoken in secret. It's all seen. It's all heard. They might think they're whispering in the dark, but the light always exposes the truth. See, when people operate out of deception, they think they have the upper hand. They think they can rewrite the narrative, that they can paint you as the villain while they play the innocent victim. They manipulate conversations, twist reality, use people like chess pieces, always thinking they're 5 steps ahead, but they don't realize that no matter how many steps ahead they think they are, they've already lost the game. Because nothing they do is unseen. Nothing they do goes unnoticed, and sooner or later, the same web they wove for you becomes the net that traps them. It's almost laughable when you think about it, how much effort some people put into trying to destroy others, how much time they spend obsessing over how to bring you down, how much energy they invest in making sure you don't succeed. But what they don't realize is that their energy isn't stopping you, it's fueling you. Every lie they tell, every attack they launch, every roadblock they throw in your path, it all ends up working against them. They think they're draining you, but really they're just setting the stage for their own downfall. Because here's the truth. If they had real power, they wouldn't need to manipulate. If they were truly strong, they wouldn't need to play games. If they were truly ahead, they wouldn't need to hold you back. Their desperation to control you, to shape the narrative, to twist reality, is proof of their weakness. It's proof that they fear what you might become if you weren't under their influence. And that fear is why they keep trying. Because deep down, they know they can't stop what's coming for you. You ever notice how the ones who try the hardest to bring you down are the ones who smile the biggest in your face? They disguise themselves as allies, as supporters, as friends, even as family, but the whole time they're watching, waiting, hoping for a moment of weakness. They don't celebrate your wins, they tolerate them. They don't encourage your growth, they resent it. They don't love you for who you are, they hate you for what they can't be. And the moment they think they can gain something by betraying you, they won't hesitate. But what they don't realize is that every betrayal, every attack, every game they play, it's all seen. They think they're getting away with it, but they're only running out of time. Because no one who operates in deception ever truly wins. They might get ahead for a moment. They might convince a few people to turn against you. They might even make you doubt yourself, but the truth always comes out. The mask always slips. And when it does, they're left exposed, vulnerable, powerless. And here's the part they really don't understand. What they tried to destroy in you is exactly what's going to rise up stronger. The very thing they attacked, the very thing they tried to take, the very thing they saw as a threat, that's what's going to multiply in your life. They tried to silence you. Your voice is about to be louder than ever. They tried to isolate you. You're about to walk into rooms they could never enter. They tried to steal from you. You're about to receive more than they ever dreamed of. Because while they were busy plotting, you were growing. While they were busy scheming, you were elevating. While they were busy trying to pull you down, you were being positioned for something they could never touch. And now when they look at you, they won't even recognize the person standing in front of them. Because you're not who they thought you were. You're stronger, you're wiser, you're untouchable. So let them keep thinking they have control. Let them keep believing they've won. Let them sit in their illusion for as long as they need to. Because soon they'll realize the truth. Soon they'll see that every move they made, every lie they told, every game they played was all useless. Because no matter what they did, no matter how hard they tried, they were never in control, they never had the power, and they never stood a chance at stopping what was always meant to be. You weren't put here just to make it through. You weren't put here just to survive the storms, to endure the battles, to take the hits and keep moving. You weren't put here to shrink yourself, to fit into places that were never meant for you, to dim your light so that insecure people could feel comfortable, to walk on eggshells around those who secretly fear your power. You weren't put here just to exist. You were put here to rise. See, some people think that because they've knocked you down, because they've made you question yourself, because they've broken parts of you, that you'll stay there. They think that because they took their best shot and it shook you, that means you're finished. They look at you and think you're too tired, too wounded, too drained to keep going. But what they don't understand is that you were built for this. You were designed to rise. Every scar, every setback, every betrayal, it wasn't meant to destroy you, it was meant to strengthen you. Pressure is a strange thing. It can break weak things, but it can also mold, refine, and harden the things that were built to withstand it. You've been under pressure. You've felt the weight of people's words, the sting of their deception, the heaviness of carrying burdens you never asked for. But if you look closely, you'll see that you're not breaking, you're transforming. The fire didn't consume you, it purified you. The storm didn't drown you, it taught you how to navigate the waves. The battle didn't take you out, it built your endurance. People who are meant to rise don't live easy lives. They don't walk smooth roads. They don't get to move through life without opposition. Because in order to reach a higher level, you have to go through something. You have to be tested. You have to be challenged. You have to face moments that make you question whether you can even keep going. And the reason for that is simple. What's inside of you is too great to remain undeveloped. You ever wonder why certain people come against you the way they do? Why they seem so threatened by you, even when you've done nothing but show them love? Why they feel the need to undermine you, sabotage you, twist your words, paint you as something you're not? It's because they see something in you that they don't understand. They see a strength that intimidates them. They see a light that exposes their darkness. They see a fire that they can't put out. And the funny thing is, they think they can stop it. They think if they throw enough dirt on your name, if they create enough obstacles, if they make you doubt yourself enough times, you'll just give up. But what they don't realize is that you don't just survive storms, you grow in them. Every time they try to break you, you're getting stronger. Every time they try to silence you, your voice becomes clearer. Every time they try to shut a door in your face, you learn how to build your own. See, some people are only comfortable with you when they think you need them. They're fine with you as long as you stay at a level they can control. As long as you stay at a level they can control. As long as you don't outgrow the space they've put you in. But the moment you start rising, the moment you start walking in your true potential, the moment you start stepping into who you were always meant to be, that's when they panic. That's when they start doing everything they can to keep you down. Because they were never rooting for you. They were rooting for their version of you. The version they could handle. The version that made them feel safe. But you can't stay small to make other people comfortable. You can't dim your light because it blinds those who refuse to see. You can't hold yourself back out of fear of who might not like you anymore when you step into your true self. You have to rise. You have to step fully into your purpose. You have to embrace the fact that not everyone will be happy about it, and that's okay. You weren't put here to please people. You were put here to fulfill a purpose. And let me tell you something. When you rise, you don't rise alone. You rise carrying every lesson you've learned, every scar that made you stronger, every moment you thought would break you but didn't. You rise with wisdom. You rise with power. You rise with the understanding that everything you went through wasn't for nothing. That every betrayal, every tear, every lonely night, every time you had to pick yourself up off the ground, it was all leading you here. You won't rise as the same person who was knocked down. You won't rise carrying the same insecurities, the same fears, the same doubts. Because when you go through the fire, you come out different. The things that used to shake you won't shake you anymore. The people who used to control you won't even have access to you anymore. The places you used to feel small in won't even be able to contain you anymore. Because when you rise, you don't go back. You don't shrink. You don't apologize for being who you were meant to be. You step forward fully, boldly, without hesitation. And the best part? The people who tried to keep you down, the ones who tried to break you, the ones who thought they had won, they'll have to watch. They'll have to see you standing in the very places they swore you'd never reach. They'll have to hear your name spoken in rooms they tried to shut you out of. They'll have to sit with the reality that everything they did to stop you only made you stronger. So let them talk. Let them plot. Let them do everything they think will stop you, because none of it will work. None of it will change what's already set in motion. None of it will keep you from rising, because you weren't put here just to survive. You were put here to overcome, to thrive, to walk in your purpose with power, and nothing, no lie, no betrayal, no setback can stop what's already destined to be. You could spend your whole life trying to prove something to the people who doubted you. You could waste your energy chasing validation from the same ones who threw dirt on your name. You could lose sleep wondering how to make them see the truth, how to make them admit what they did, how to get them to understand the weight of their actions. But the truth is, none of that matters. The best response, the only response, is to rise so high that their words become meaningless, their schemes become irrelevant, their presence becomes a distant memory. See, some people expect you to get caught up in the game they're playing. They expect you to retaliate, to get lost in proving a point, to let their actions dictate your next move. They expect you to fight them on their level, to become so consumed with getting back at them that you lose sight of where you were actually headed. That's the trap. That's what they want. Because as long as you're focused on them, you're not focused on your purpose. As long as you're looking back, you're not moving forward. As long as you're trying to make them pay for what they did, you're the one stuck carrying the weight of it. But when you let go, when you choose to focus on where you're going instead of what they did, that's when you win. That's when you break free. That's when you stop playing the game they set up and start living in a way they could never touch. Because success is the greatest response, not just the kind of success that comes with money or status, but the kind of success that comes with peace. The kind of success that comes with knowing you didn't let them change you. The kind of success that comes with walking in a purpose so much bigger than their betrayal, so much bigger than their lies, so much bigger than their attempts to break you. They want you angry. They want you bitter. They want you stuck in the past, carrying the pain, holding on to resentment, unable to move forward. They want you to become so consumed with what they did that you never step into what's next. Because as long as you're looking at them, you're not looking at the future. As long as you're thinking about them, you're not thinking about where you're meant to be. But when you elevate, when you shift your focus, when you decide to put all that energy into becoming the best version of yourself, instead of proving something to people who were never meant to go where you're going, that's when you become unstoppable. That's when their opinions stop mattering. That's when their actions stop affecting you. That's when you look around and realize they never had power over you to begin with. You just thought they did. People who operate in deception, manipulation, and control, they thrive on reactions. They thrive on knowing they got under your skin, that they made you doubt yourself, that they caused you to lose sleep, that they had some kind of effect on your life. That's their fuel. But when you refuse to give them that, when you refuse to let their actions control your emotions, your mind, your peace, that's when you take their power away. That's when they realize they never had control over you in the first place. And that's the thing, your success, your peace, your joy, your ability to keep moving forward, that's what will eat them alive. That's what will keep them up at night, because they expected you to stay in the pain. They expected you to be so weighed down by what they did that you never move past it. But when they see you thriving, when they see you walking with confidence, when they see that their attempts to break you only built you, that's when they realize they lost, the moment they tried to come against you. See, revenge is temporary. It might feel good in the moment to see someone get what they deserve, to watch them experience the consequences of their actions. But revenge doesn't build anything. It doesn't elevate you. It doesn't heal you. It doesn't take you anywhere new. It just keeps you in the same place, stuck in the same cycle, giving energy to people who don't deserve it. But when you focus on your growth, when you put all that energy into building yourself up instead of tearing someone else down, that's when real victory happens. That's when you start stepping into rooms they swore you'd never enter. That's when you start achieving things they never thought possible for you. That's when your life itself becomes proof that nothing they did worked. And the beauty of it all, you won't even have to say a word. You won't have to defend yourself. You won't have to explain what happened, because your life, your elevation, your success, it will all speak for itself. The same people who believed the lies, who turned their backs on you, who thought you were finished, they'll see it. They'll watch as you rise. They'll watch as you become everything they tried to convince themselves you'd never be. And the ones who tried to destroy you, they'll have to live with the truth that nothing they did stopped what was meant for you. They'll have to sit with the reality that every move they made, every word they spoke, every action they took, it all failed. Because you were never meant to stay down. You were never meant to live in that hurt. You were never meant to fight battles that were already won. So let them watch, let them wonder. Let them sit in their confusion, trying to figure out how you survived what was meant to break you. Let them see that no matter what they did, you still became everything they feared you would. Because that's the greatest response. Not revenge, not bitterness, not proving a point, just rising so high that they become nothing but a distant memory. And now, after everything, after the lies, the betrayals, the attempts to break you, the moments of doubt, the storms you never thought you'd make it through, you're still here. You're still standing, you're still rising. Not as the same person who was once broken, not as the person who questioned their worth, not as the person who let others define them. No, you stand here transformed, stronger, wiser, untouchable, because nothing they did could stop what was meant for you. Nothing they said could erase your purpose. Nothing they plotted could change the fact that you were built to overcome. They tried and they failed. And now they have to watch as you walk into everything they swore you'd never have. They have to sit with the reality that every scheme, every lie, every moment they tried to bring you down only pushed you higher. You don't owe them a response. You don't owe them revenge. You don't owe them anything. Your victory is in the fact that you made it. That their words didn't define you. That their actions didn't destroy you. That the pain they caused didn't stop you from becoming everything you were always meant to be. And that's the greatest answer you could ever give. Keep rising. Keep walking in your purpose. Keep becoming the version of yourself they never wanted to see, because the best response is always elevation.